I think conceptual artists, that's what you do. What are some of the ideas that are really important to you that you would like to convey to viewers?
Well, in this latest work, my interest in the body has to do with technology and communication, I guess, more specifically. The way that we sort of hide behind some of our technological devices and the impact that they're having on the way that we relate to each other, emotionally, psychologically, physically. Yeah, the latest work really focuses on cell phones very specifically, and
no, it's I am, what is?
She is writing, I think she's writing I Am Everywhere. So I was really interested in this piece in exploring the idea that through technology you can sort of be everywhere at once.
And yet she's writing on the verge of the ocean, so we know that the waves are going to come and wash that statement away.
Right. That piece very much had an underlying theme of absence or disappearance, erasure.
Got this with the snow angel here.
Right.
Yeah. Now, as an artist, as you go through the process of putting these pieces together, are you someone who's working primarily by intuition, or do you have a schema that you're working from? What's your process?
Well, with that piece, it's actually a lot of thinking and writing, and maybe some sketching, but it stays very much sort of in my head for a long time. I knew I wanted to do something that had to do with the body and the weight of the body, the physicality of the body. And so for that piece, one of my bits of research involved taking trapeze lessons to try to understand the weight of the gravity and the body. And that ultimately didn't become part of that project, but it was a really fun way to start to think about the project. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that you are such a heady artist, and the mind is clearly at the focus of what you do, and you also, the body is, you keep returning to this. What's the mind-body connection for you?
I think they're completely, they're connected very deeply, and I think in our culture, as a culture, we're very disconnected from our bodies. So I think the body has an intelligence that we're not completely tapped into. And I guess that's my interest in technology. That disconnect just seems like it's going to continue to grow. That's sort of at the core of a lot of that work.
Well, we've got about 6 minutes left, and we have a 4-minute video. I want to shift gears a little bit before we come back and look at more of the body and technology, and talk to you about your life as a working artist. I mean, it can be difficult for someone to make a living and be an artist. What are some of the conflicts that you come across yourself?
Time, and finding a way to keep a thread going. Sometimes I find myself with a chunk of time, but I've lost the connection to what I was doing 2 weeks prior when I had a chunk of time. So that's really difficult. I've been teaching for about 8 or 9 years now, and generally I have the summers off to really engage in my practice and get that thread going. But it's I think pretty much the same as any artist. It's just the concentrated time to really get your thoughts together.
Do you find that working with students, it invigorates you, or does it divert you? Does it inspire you in your own work? Different people have different responses, I know, as teachers.
Yeah, no, I find that that's a positive, being around students and being able to talk about ideas with them. It kind of keeps, keeps my own ideas percolating. Yeah.
Well, it's summer right now as we're doing this interview in July of 2008. So you have a big block of time. What are you working on right now? What are you thinking about doing for the future?
I've sort of been staying away from the computer and working on some drawings and collages. It's always my background in fine arts still sort of tugs at me, and every once in a while I need to do something that's more hands-on, more immediate, and I'm in one of those modes right now. I've been working collaboratively with a choreographer in Los Angeles, and I have a proposal that I'm trying to find funding for. So we'll see.
Well, do you tend to be a collaborative artist? Because most of that work looks like it's you.
Right. No, the collaboration is a new thing.
Oh, okay.
We've worked on 2 projects together over the last year, and that's another very challenging and different way of working, but it made sense for me to work with a choreographer who could give me information about the body in a way that I didn't completely, haven't been able to work. And of course refers back to my interest in dance.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a perfect connection for you. Well, tell us, as we go out on this final video, what it is that we're going to be looking at.
I think this final piece is called Signal, and sort of an experimental piece that I did. It ties into this performance proposal that I just mentioned. I've been really interested in the different gestures, poses, movements of the body as we're all talking on cell phones, texting. The parts of our bodies that we use are very specific, but also this idea that our focus is so internalized, and I'm always fascinated when I see people walking down the street. It's an obvious couple together, and they're both on their cell phones. So we're in close physical proximity to each other, but completely disconnected. And it's fascinating to me, visually and conceptually.
Okay. Well, we're going to go out on this, so I'm going to thank you, Elizabeth Leister, for being on the program.
Thank you so much.
Let's take a look at Signal.
Great, thank you.